my hand something very special. It's over 100 years old. And what it is, it's a special box that you keep things, keepsake box that you can keep things in. And this was my grandmother, Anna Brosnahan. And her mother, Julia Ann Sullivan, came from Ireland to live in the United States. And in this box, I keep this very special piece of jewelry. And this jewelry, one of my great great uncles brought back for my grandma. And then my grandma passed it down to my mom, and my mom gave it to me. It's a cameo, it's a very special piece of jewelry. And I wore this at my wedding, and I'm going to have my daughters wear this at their wedding and pass it down to them. These are family heirlooms. I have a wonderful book called The Welcome Chair. And this story is about a chair and its many, many adventures as it was handed down from person to person and acquired from family to family. I hope that you enjoy this story called The Welcome Chair. The Welcome Chair, written by Rosemary Wells, illustrated by Jerry Pickney. My father received his American citizenship in 1935. He told me that during his naturalization ceremony, he learned the three great documents of American history: the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the inscription on the Statue of Liberty. He made me memorize these words: "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free." America's door is open to suffering people from foreign lands, my dad told me. It's America's fundamental generosity of spirit that makes her hold her head high in a world of trouble. And it will always be so. My father's words were true until recently. Lady Liberty's message is challenged by those who want to shut that door. This book is based in part on my own family's legend, as told to be by my grandmother, Marguerite Leopold Bamberger, and as passed down to her from her grandma Ruth Siebert's diary. In the year 1807, Sam Siebert is born in the Kingdom of Bavaria. He is my great great grandfather, but will never know it. Sam's favorite thing to do is carving wooden toys for his little sister Sarah. His mother says Sam has a gift from God in his hands, but Sam's father says Sam must study to be a rabbi. Sam hates studying the Torah in stuffy rooms by the light of a winking candle. Sam wants the wind in his hair and the smell of horses in the meadow. He aches to feel a piece of wood and a knife in his hands. "You will be a rabbi like me and your grandfather," says Sam's father. "It is settled. You will not work with your hands like a country bumpkin." Sam doesn't like to argue. Early one morning, when Sam is 16, he cuts off his side locks so that no one will yank him and bully him for being a Jewish boy. Sam kisses his sleeping mother. She wakes for a moment and sweeps his cheek with her hand. She knows he is leaving without him saying a word. "Please, God, may I see my beautiful boy again," whisper the fingertips that touch his face. Sam hikes north through the ancient kingdoms of Mecklenburg and Kassel. His compass is the sun. He keeps it to the right in the mornings and to the left in the afternoons. He walks for 3 months until he reaches the port of Hamburg. There, he finds work as a deckhand on a freighter for 3 pfennigs a day. Before he sets sail, Sam sits on a bollard and writes to his family, telling them the name of the ship and where he is going. The captain of the ship peers over Sam's shoulders. "You can read and write, boy?" he asks. Sam is suddenly made the keeper of the ship's log and inventory for 5 pfennigs a day. Sam's writing finger turns blue with ink, but it means Sam doesn't have to scale the rigging and reef the sails in stormy weather. He won't be tossed like a rag doll into the sea. Sam learns that reading and writing have value in the world. 6 weeks later, they sail into New York Harbor. There is a lighthouse at Sandy Nook, but Lady Liberty is not going to appear for another 62 years. Sam shakes hands with the captain and then darts away across the Brooklyn docks into the screeching, shrieking, filthy, clanging, terrifying, ugly, and beautiful young city of New York. Sam walks until he finds Hinsler's housewright shop on Charlton Street. Guten Tag, says Sam to Abel Hinsler. Haben Sie Arbeit für mich? Clara, Abel's wife, notices blue ink stain on Sam's writing finger. Be our bookkeeper, she blurts out. Abel is such a Hanswurst with numbers. Sam becomes both bookkeeper and apprentice carpenter. When tiny Magnus Hinsler is born, Sam makes a cherry wood rocking chair for Clara to sit comfortably in with Magnus. He carves the word for welcome, Willkommen, across a panel, welcoming Magnus into the world. 1 year later, Abel slips and spins off an icy roof. He's unable to work. Clara's brother writes from Wisconsin. Come west, the letter says. Clara, Abel, Magnus, Sam, and Pussycat Magda board a brand new Erie Canal boat that travels through the canal to Buffalo on Lake Erie. They travel by wagon train the rest of the way to Prairie du Chien on the Mississippi River. The rocking chair goes with them. Sam, strong and able, goes to work as a carpenter in a joinery. One evening, he finds a young woman singing and peeling supper potatoes with Clara. Her name is Ruth. She sings like an angel. She also limps. I have a club foot, says Ruth. So I came to America. In the old country, no man would marry a woman like me because they think they will have sons that won't walk or work. Sam falls in love with Ruth's gentle laughter and gray green eyes. He makes Ruth's a lambed wool lined boot with wheels so that Ruth will glide. They marry. Their firstborn is Henry. Sam carves Baruch Haba, Hebrew for welcome, right under Willkommen onto the chair's panel so Henry will know his heritage. In 1861, the Civil War comes to America. Henry joins the Union Army because he hates slavery and because all the other boys are joining up too. Sam, Ruth, and their family wave goodbye from the front porch. The welcome chair is brought out to wait for Henry's return. Helen, Henry's little sister, says, We are in America now, not Journey. She makes her father carve welcome in English into the chair. Sam sleeps with the wooden toys he carved long ago for Henry under his pillow. But Henry does not come home. He was killed in Gettysburg in 1863. The welcome chair comes inside at last. It stays in Sam's and Ruth's parlor. Spring breezes tip it gently, as do winter drafts. No one is allowed to sit in it in case Henry miraculously comes home. In 1880, Helen Seabird elopes with Harry Leopold. They move to New York City to a big fancy house. The chair is sent east by railway. Harry says the welcome chair looks like a slice of prairie. The chair goes up to the sewing room and is draped with chintz and bombazine. Lucy Kennedy is Irish. She comes to the United States with her mam and da when she is two because people in Ireland are starving. As a child, Lucy has to work 12 hours a day spooling thread in a thread factory. All the same, learns fine sewing by gaslight. Helen Leopold hires Lucy as the family seamstress. Lucy mends clothing and sews beautiful dresses while rocking in the welcome chair. When Lucy marries the doorman at the Plaza Hotel, Helen Leopold gives them the chair as a wedding present. First, she orders brass letters for it spelling Falite. Irish for welcome. In the years to come, Lucy treasures the chair, as do all her children. The chair is their locomotive, their stagecoach, their battleship. They wreck it. Broken and splintered, the chair winds up on the sidewalk for the junk man. Luckily, a Salvation Army antique cart stops first. In 1939, Sister Carlotta and Sister Emmanuel are best friends in the Dominican city of Santo Domingo. They join a nursing convent together. They heal the wounds and sickness of the poor. The Dominican Republic is ruled by a strict dictator, Rafael Trujillo. He murders anyone who disagrees with them and terrifies his citizens. He places his name above God's name on the churches. The sisters object. They write letters. They go up on a ladder to change the words in front of the church. Trujillo, Trujillo's secret police catch them taking down the dictator's name. They tell them they will be severely punished unless they stop making trouble. They are thrown in jail. But a prison guard's little daughter has an infected boil. She is close to dying of blood poisoning. Sister Emmanuel treats the boil with sulfa powder and it heals. The guard unlocks their cell. The sisters dress quickly in their black habits and race away unseen in the moonlight. Hidden in a bevy of nuns and priests, Sister Carlotta and Sister Emmanuel leave the Dominican Republic on a tourist boat bound for Newark, New Jersey. They begin life again at St. Peter's Hospital in New Brunswick. Sister Emmanuel is a lover of bargains. She finds the chair outside a Salvation Army store. The chair makes nice squeaks. She buys it for $1 and brings it home. She scratches the word bienvenido in Spanish into the wood with a penknife. The chair is a perfect birthday gift for Sister Carlotta. In the evening, Sister Carlotta gets off her aching feet and rocks in the welcome chair. She sips lemon tea and gives butter cookies to young patients who sit in her lap. Into the night, she and Sister Emmanuel laugh and gossip about the doctors. In the year 2010, Sister Carlotta and Sister Emmanuel leave the earth 2 months apart. The welcome chair is placed in a rummage sale. Pearl Besquet's mother grabs it. She lemon oils its arms, seat, and back until it gleams. Pearl claims it as her homework chair. She rocks and reads her books away from her big brother Cyrus, who makes too much noise. One morning, Pearl's father opens his newspaper. A terrible earthquake has crippled the country of Haiti. I'm a doctor, he says. I must go down and help. Can I come? Asks Pearl. Pearl cannot come, but her father sends back pictures of his emergency clinic he set up in a tent by the Red Cross. When her father comes home, he is carrying a small moving bundle. In it is a baby boy. His name is Jean Marie. Pearl's father tells her, I took care of Jean Marie at the clinic. His mama and papa were lost in the earthquake. We are our family now. Pearl makes her new brother giggle. You know what we have to do? Asks Pearl. What? Asks Pearl's father. Our welcome chair needs a new word, says Pearl. Cyrus chisels bienveni below the Spanish bienvenido. One Sunday in 2016 in the Baskets Church, Father Fiore announces that a new family has moved to town from a distant land destroyed by war. The family escaped trudging 100 miles carrying a baby and an old grandmother. They jammed onto a boat with too many people. They have a 10-year-old girl, says Father Fiore, but her baby sister fell out of the crowded boat and into the ocean and drowned. That family needs help, says Father Fiore. They have nothing. Pearl and her best friend Amanda look at each other. I'll give her my American Girl doll, Samantha, says Amanda. Pearl knows what she wants to give. First, she has to ask Jean Marie, since his family's welcome was on the chair. Jean Marie is now a 6-year-old first baseman. He says, Sure, you bet. Pearl and Amanda go to the town library. They found the words they want. Amanda's father helps whittle in loopy letters. Her name is Amira. She sits on the bed in a house trailer that Father Fiore's church rents for them. She has never seen a rocking chair or an American Girl doll. Pearl shows her how to rock. Amanda puts Samantha in Amara's arms. For the first time in many months, Amira smiles. Those three girls form a perfect shape, like a heart. And that is the end of this beautiful story. When I was about 10, my grandmother showed me her drawer of treasures. In it was a diary written in spidery old German, alt Schrift, handwriting by my great great grandmother Ruth Siebert. To me, the faded writing looked like the scratching of a chicken feet. My grandmother translated the words and read them aloud. The first half of this book is a family memoir based on the diary and my recollection of it, long sleeping in my memory, difficult to confirm or research. The story was left dangling, but now has come to life many years later in a very different America. What I can confirm is that my great grandfather Sam Siebert came to America to escape religious conformity. Ruth emigrated because of a physical disability and an old wives' tale. They changed their first names from the unpronounceable German to Sam and Ruth to become more American. My family were shopkeepers in the Midwest. They are buried there. Almost everyone who came to America escaped something: dictators, natural disasters, wars, famine, religious discrimination. On Ellis Island in New York Harbor, Miss Liberty opened her arms to them. In our current times, there are leaders who would close our doors to the tired and poor who were once welcomed here. Because I disagree with them from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to write about the chair that welcomed members of my family for so long. The trouble was, my grandmother's account ended in 1918. No one knew what happened to the welcome chair after that. As a writer, I had to find the rest of the story myself. I found that if I looked and listened, I could find 20 real stories. At a gathering at my daughter's school, the convent of the Sacred Heart in Connecticut, I met two elderly nuns who had escaped the dictator Trujillo in Santo Domingo. They came to New Jersey as nurses. In 2016, my daughter's best friend helped a local doctor's rescue efforts after the earthquake in Haiti. Another friend sponsored a Syrian family here in my hometown, Stamford. And so, listening and taking notes as writers do, I had a complete book. Providence smiled, and Jerry Pinkley has made it come alive. And that is the end of this wonderful story. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that was a very long story, but didn't you just love to learn the history of that chair? Now, I encourage you, ask your family members, what is your history? Where did you come from? Is there something special that you have that's been handed down in your family from generation to generation? And if you don't have something, maybe you can be the start of handing down something special. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.